And,
but you mentioned it on live.
No, I have never wanted to say, but it just came out. Baba said he's a Wanga also. So Baba helped us to know that as a nation, we, the Bantus, coming all the way from Congo in Babenda, in Benin State in Nigeria, all the way to this place. He also knew of that team that came from Sudan, both the children of the Nile, the Nilotes, both River Lake and the Plain, and those that came from the Ethiopia highlands, the highland Nilotes, the Kalenjin specifically. He also knew, and by the way, there is a part of Kenya that I really had not been opened up to so much, and that is northern Kenya. The one person that really helped me appreciate northern Kenya was Raila Odinga, because every time I went to BP and Shell House, which is now Harambee House Annex, I met those guys there, and I realized that these guys are extremely sharp, very good people. He also spoke about the indigents. By the way, Trevor, when the majority of the groups arrived in this country, whether they are Nilotes, Kushites, whatever, there were people we found here. The Senguers, the Ogieks, I may not mention all of them. He was very specific about those people. And you remember, he will insist that we cannot touch Mau, for example. One, it is because it has got people there. There are guys from Mbobut Forest, people whom we found in this particular land. But he said that together, all of us can actually be we can actually be a nation. That however way you look at it, it's either we are both a collage and we are mosaic. Finally, if you look at how he will put up his teams, it's an attribute I actually admire. And a lot of times I try to replicate that. He never picked people who agree with him alone. Also, he was never afraid of bringing sharp people on board. If you ever met a constellation of stars, of sharp people, it was always in his wings. He will bring in, of course, you might meet people who are in your opinion, because these things sometimes are subjective. Whether somebody is brilliant or not, sometimes it's subjective. But you will meet at how he puts together his team. It's in a way that he's not afraid. He will bring in a nuclear scientist, bring in a business person, and he did politics the way we really are admiring to do. Because for him, it was not about following him because he has got money or resources, but he could actually pull together resources. So you will find somebody taking care of mobility, I will take care of it. Communication, somebody else will take, and that is the politics we need, where it's a people pulling together their resources rather than one man with so much resources buying out loyalties and everything else. And for me, I choose completely, not to try and mourn him. Not that it's easy, but I celebrate him because literally, I look at this nation, it is in his image. And as an elder now, that is why, for example, we have decided to subject his will to public participation. He did not consult us. Even if it were possible, we can move it a little bit further from that Sunday. So he cannot tell us about culture, tradition, and the ways of our people. And then he comes around and tries to actually hold our hands. A little bit on that he will understand. But I also want to say this, that there is a lesson Raila was trying to actually push through with the 72 hours. And this, I hope I will get the right words, because sometimes communication can actually be twisted. When this circumcision issue was being played around with, he challenged the Luo communication and the other communities that were not practicing circumcision. And today it's practiced, and they've realized that there's nothing big about it. There were marginal benefits to it. And he went out there and he told them, you cannot die. It's not something like, but if there's something good that we can get out of it, so he challenged them, and we embraced it. So even the 72-hour thing, do you know, Trevor, that it's not our culture as Westerners to keep people for a very long time? We only learned to start keeping people longer because, number one, we come from very far. Those of us who come from the far west, we come from very far. And then, of course, there are morgues that can keep people for a very long time. Otherwise, I'm told, for example, like my great-grandfather was buried in the morning when he died at night. So it was our tradition to bury people early. So he's also introducing something that we need to pick up and run with. He was a revolutionary, not just politically, but also culturally.
All right. I see there's a lot of activity at the Nyayo National Stadium. I don't know whether we should cross over there and listen in for a bit before I bring in Lena on the lessons that she picked from Raila Odinga. Let's listen into what's going on at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Wacha dunia ijue jeshi ya baba iko area. Tuimbe kama kwaya basi. Kila mtu. Hey. Tunaomboleza tukisherehekea maisha ya mama yetu Enigma Chako. Kila mtu.
Nyayo National Stadium there, where the state funeral is supposed to start in the next few minutes. That's actually supposed to be at 9 a.m. and you're keeping an eye on everything that's going on around in precincts of Parliament as well. The body of the former Prime Minister is currently there. We're also trying to see what's happening at the Nyayo National Stadium. Lena, we were talking about this issue of lessons, and you've heard from those who've worked close to him. And for you as a young person, what more can you learn?
Thank you, Trevor. You know, Trevor, nowadays when I think there's a surge of young people that want to be elected in 2027.
Yeah.
It's really high. And when you ask them, what do you want to really be elected on? There is lack of ideology. Mm-hmm. In fact, when they're just rebuked by their opponents, they're like, my opponent is touching me because I have money. They're trying to destroy me because they have power. Mm-hmm. And the slogan, actually, most of the slogans are just based on one term and two term. But one of the things that I learned from the former Prime Minister had a career that had spanned over 40 years in politics, and he had built a very organic support base. Mm. You know, seeing that from what is happening right now, that we cannot be able to contain the masses, you see. And because of that, because of this support base that he had built, there was something that he championed for. His support was directly connected to his ideologies. It was not connected to popular narratives or to some kind of emotions. And this was because he spoke the language of the people. He knew how to speak the language of the youth. He knew how to speak the language of the women. He knew how to speak the language of marginalized communities. Mm. He even knew how to speak the language of politicians. So these people could be able to identify with him. Because the moment that you learn to speak the people's language, people feel like you are concerned about them. Yeah. So there was this kind of welfare status that people felt Raila had. And that's why everything, if anything would happen, if something would go wrong and Raila doesn't speak, people would be like, Nambona Raila hajaongea? Because they were waiting for him to speak. He was like a defender to them. One of the character traits of the former Prime Minister was his sacrificial leadership. All through since 1970s to even 2022, he demonstrated sacrificial leadership. I remember when Azimio lost in 2022, I was like, Baba, come on, do something, you know, do something. But he used the right channel, of course, to address his issues. And when it didn't work, he went on and said, it's fine. I agree. I may not agree with the results, but because we don't have any other option, let's just move on. And even came and supported the current government. Mm. So he really had sacrificial leadership in him. And I think that's something that we can be able to borrow as young people. Okay. Secondly, Baba was a mentor. I don't think there's any politician in this country that hasn't interacted with Baba. Even the current president is as a result of Baba's leadership. The former president, Uhuru, at one point he was part of ODM back then in 2005. So Baba raised so many leaders that we have today. And I believe that the seed that has been sown in those leaders, we are going to see it spring up. Mm. And these are going to be the people that are going to carry on the legacy that Baba has left. Okay. Thirdly, Baba was ready to explore. I think if there was any person that was ready to explore legally, politically, and economically, it was Baba. Mm. Baba would come up with BBI and he would wonder, where did this one even come from? Then he would come up with, and he would say that, let's have a dialogue. And then he would say, you know, come up with a some economic proposal, I think Baba was really ready to explore, not just here in the country, but also across the continent. We saw by his manifesto, when he was highlighting his manifesto for the African Union chairmanship. Yeah. And I think that is something, because we realize that our leaders are not creative nowadays. I was challenging some members of parliament that we met someday, and I told them that we need to be creative. We also need to learn how to align our agenda with the global agenda. You realize that some of the things like unemployment cannot just be dealt with at a national level. They need to be dealt with at a continental and global level. Okay. So I think it's a challenge for even our leaders to be global. And I think that's what gave Baba a global appeal, a continental appeal, a Pan-Africanism, because he looked beyond what we were going through as a nation. And lastly, Baba was a politician. And he was a politician because if you look at the leaders, the current president, the former president, and even the times of Mwai Kibaki, these people have ran to Baba for help. They believe that he had the template, and it's understandable because Baba has gone through all these things. I always say that there's nothing that Baba hasn't gone through that is happening right now. Even our revolution as Gen Zs. Baba has seen all these things. He knows how it begins and how it is going to end. When the opposition is meeting and collating together and saying that we want to do this, he saw that happen in 1997. This is not the first time that he's seeing it. So, and he understands, he knows, watafika hapa, and then they will take a U-turn, and then this is what is going to happen, you know. Yes, I think those are some of the lessons that I can be able to attribute to Baba. Okay.
Serigo, you want to jump into that as well?
Yeah. I want to agree with her, but slightly differ with her as well. From where I sit, I think Raila Odinga was more of a leader than a politician. Why do I say this? Because many times we have sat in a room where, I mean, we are hot-blooded and we are telling him, say, let's go on the streets.
There's no going back on
There's no going back on this. And a case in point was in 2017 when we unfairly lost an election. And everyone was calling him and telling him, say, we are not going for these repeat elections. And then he listened to us. I remember I called him, he was in CII. I called him, I told him, say, we are not going for this repeat. If you're going for these repeat elections, then please make sure that then Uhuru doesn't get any votes from our regions. Let him have the elections in some parts where he controls, so that we deny him political legitimacy to run a country. He listened and then he said, you know, Dennis, we have only one country. Yeah, so we deny people to go exercise their votes to vote, their right to vote. And then we balkanize this country, so where are we going as a country? But let me fast forward to COVID times and echo what Arnold was saying a few minutes ago when he said he's not mourning Raila Odinga, he's celebrating him. Personally, I'm doing the same thing because I think I had very personal moments with Raila Odinga that scared me a lot, and one of them was the COVID-19 pandemic when he was diagnosed with COVID, when he contracted COVID. And I remember to the run-up to him getting COVID, we sat as a protocol team and we asked ourselves, how are we going to deal with Raila Odinga? Because Raila Odinga loves shaking hands. You can't stop him from shaking people's hands. It's our thing. It's our thing. It's an African thing. So then a plan was put in place. What do? We get a sanitizer. Okay. Who is going to carry this sanitizer? So in that room, it was Ibrahim Ouma, who is a CEC now in Nairobi County. There was Maurice Ochieng, Mudomo Bagi. There was Ndiege, a young, lean man who has been with Raila for a very long time. And there was Winnie Odinga as well, and many other people. And then we said, we give the sanitizer to George, Mze's bodyguard, or alternated with Maurice. And then, so when we tried our first trial, I think we were out of town. But what we forgot that the sanitizer, sometimes because the way it was stored, it was very cold. So when you spray his hands, it will irritate him. Yeah. So when you come with that sanitizer, he will wave you away. But somehow, so when he waves you away, that doesn't want the sanitizer, you come back again. Yeah. So you come and tell him, Mzee, I think you should say this, and then you tell him, Mzee, we also need to sanitize you. He said, but this thing, but we will sanitize him. Yeah. Okay. But as time went by, I think our last engagement was when we went to Taita Taveta, then we went to Mombasa, and then we came back to Nairobi, and then Raila Odinga has contracted COVID. And then he's admitted in Nairobi Hospital. So there was talk in town that Raila has been taken ill because of COVID. And so what do? We need to tell the public that Raila has contracted COVID. And then I called him because at that particular time, I was the one running his social media handles with another team of people. So I called him and I said, Mzee, so before I even spoke, and I don't know if this happened to many other people around him, because Mzee had a way of explaining to you what he has done the whole day. But at the back of my mind, I'm like, but Mzee, I work for you. I should know what you have been up to. I know where you have been. Yeah. So you'll wait online for him to tell you what he has done. I've just come back from Migori. I met I don't know who. It was a good function, all those things. And then you just listen and listen and listen, and then I put your point across. So that day, when I called him, the first thing he said, the doctor has just left here. He has checked my vitals. My oxygen is fine. My heart is in a good place, all those things. And then he cracked a very dark joke. He said, even our friend Pombe, I hear he's also across here where I am. I said, Mzee, I don't know. He said, there's a rumor like that, but we'll be fine. But what the public didn't know then after that, when he got home after a few weeks of a few days of being in hospital, his health took a turn for the worst. And we had scares as his team. That is the lowest moment that I think we had as his team. So there are times you go home, you'll find him in a very bad state, but he will still tell you, we'll fight through this. I've never seen a man fight over disease like Raila Odinga did during COVID. And at that age, advanced age, we were just